there's a mystery floating through our solar system right now. And it's not just bizarre, it's almost too bizarre. We've given it a name, 3I/ATLAS. But let's be honest, that doesn't mean we actually know what it is. From the moment it was spotted, 3I/ATLAS has defied expectations. Its appearance? Weird. Its chemistry? Stranger. And the way it moves? Downright unnatural. Some astronomers believe it's just an interstellar comet, but others think it might be something far more deliberate. Let's start with what caught everyone's attention recently, a glowing green light in the sky. During a total lunar eclipse over the remote deserts of Namibia, a group of astrophotographers captured stunning new images of 3I/ATLAS. With the moon's light blocked by Earth's shadow, the sky was darker than usual, perfect for deep sky imaging. They could have pointed their lenses anywhere, but they chose this mysterious visitor. And what they saw made headlines across the astronomy community, a strange green glow. Here's the thing, a green color in space isn't unheard of. Comets sometimes glow green when ultraviolet radiation from the sun reacts with diatomic carbon C2 in the coma, the cloud of gas and dust surrounding the comet's core. Except 3I/ALAS doesn't have C2. That's not speculation. That's been confirmed using some of the world's most powerful telescopes. Spectral analysis shows a distinct lack of the very molecules that should produce that color. So, if it's not C2, what's causing that glow? No one knows. And that's just the beginning of the weirdness. Most comets are made of a messy cocktail: frozen water, carbon chains, and a variety of metals. But 3I/ATLAS? It's not following the recipe. Instead of water vapor dominating its coma, 3I/ATLAS is spewing out large quantities of carbon dioxide, much more than usual. This is highly unusual for comets, which typically carry more H2O than CO2. And then there's the nickel. Metallic elements like nickel can appear in comets, but only under very specific circumstances. Usually, they're only detectable when a comet is close enough to the sun to superheat and vaporize those metals into the coma. But when 3I/ATLAS was seen releasing nickel, it was still floating somewhere between Mars and Jupiter, way too cold for metals to vaporize naturally. So why is this thing pumping out nickel and CO2 like it's firing an engine? That's the theory that some have cautiously floated, that maybe, just maybe, this object isn't natural at all. Let's be clear, the alien theory is not proven, but some facts are hard to ignore. Rocket engines, especially high-performance ones used in advanced space tech, often use metal alloys rich in nickel, and when burned, they produce both nickel particles and CO2 exhaust. So if 3I/ATLAS were some kind of craft, and that's a big if, this chemical fingerprint would make a strange kind of sense. Still, chemistry alone doesn't prove anything, but the way 3I/ATLAS moves, that's where things get even weirder. Normally, comets behave like chaotic space snowballs. As they near the sun, solar heat causes ice to sublimate, turning straight from solid to gas. And this outgassing acts like tiny thrusters, pushing the comet around unpredictably. We call this non-gravitational acceleration, or NGA. Think of it like a spinning garden hose. Water squirts out and nudges the direction unpredictably. But 3I/ATLAS? Since it was first observed in early May, its trajectory has barely changed. We're talking about 1.5 kilometers of deviation per day. That's extremely low, especially for a comet that's clearly outgassing. To put that in perspective, Another interstellar object, 2I/Borisov, fluctuated more than 100 kilometers per day. Hale-Bopp, one of the largest comets ever seen, moved around 10 kilometers daily. And the infamous Oumuamua, it zigzagged over 1,000 kilometers per day at its peak. Compared to them, 3I/ATEL-AS is a stone on a perfect arc, almost like it's steering itself. Now maybe it's just heavier. Maybe it has a strange shape that stabilizes its flight. That's what some scientists argue. But again, even the largest comets show more variation than this. And here's where things really take a turn. Back in 1977, astronomers at Ohio State University were scanning the sky with a massive radio telescope called the Big Ear. They weren't expecting anything special until a powerful narrowband radio signal suddenly hit their sensors. It lasted for 72 seconds and came from deep space. It was so unusual that the scientist analyzing the data simply wrote one word on the printout: wow. Hence the wow signal. No one's been able to explain it since. It wasn't Earth-based, it wasn't solar, and it wasn't a known satellite. But here's what makes the story even more compelling. The frequency matched something called the hydrogen line, a frequency any intelligent civilization might choose to broadcast, knowing it's universal. So what does this have to do with 3I/ATEL-AS? Well, recent calculations suggest that 3I/ATEL-AS may have originated from the same region of space the WOW signal came from, the constellation Sagittarius. Is it a coincidence? Maybe, most likely, but if you wanted to write science fiction, the pieces are almost too perfect. A mysterious signal from deep space, followed decades later by a strange object following a perfect trajectory straight through our solar system, one that just so happens to emit similar chemicals to an engine. Again, we're not saying it's aliens, but we're not saying it either. Scientists have been poring over 3I/ATEL-AS with all the tools available: the James Webb Space Telescope, Hubble, and countless ground-based observatories. What they've found so far is a mystery wrapped in an anomaly. Most remain cautious. The consensus? It's a very weird interstellar comet. The chemical makeup is strange, the trajectory is unusual, but that doesn't mean it's artificial. After all, space is full of things we don't understand yet. Still, some experts admit that the behavior of 3I/ATEL-AS is so unusual that it deserves close observation, not just for science, but for what it could mean if, somehow, this isn't just another rock. Right now, 3I/ATEL-AS is expected to swing around the Sun and emerge on the opposite side of Earth's orbit, meaning we won't get a close-up look anytime soon. Unless it changes course. If it slows down, reverses, or parks itself in orbit, then we're in new territory. That's the part that has some sky watchers paying very close attention. Because so far, 3I/ATEL-AS has behaved like nothing else we've ever seen, not even the other interstellar objects we've detected. So what happens next? No one knows. But the story of 3I/ATEL-AS isn't over yet. There's a saying in science: extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And right now, we don't have that evidence. But we do have a lot of questions. Why is this object glowing green with no diatomic carbon? Why is it spewing nickel from beyond the frost line? Why does its trajectory seem intentional? And how is it connected, and if at all, to a mysterious signal we've never been able to explain? 3I/ATEL-AS challenges what we think we know about comets, about interstellar objects, and maybe even about life beyond Earth. It might be just a space rock on a long journey, or it might be something else. Whatever it is, it's headed our way, and it's watching.